Okay, I'm probably live right now, but let me adjust everything. What I got going on right here? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Empower Hour with KB. My name is Kristen Brown, and I will be your host for the next 60 minutes. And today we're going to be talking about what's holding you back, how to release what's holding you back. Here's the thing: all life is energy. Everything is energy. And there is some things in our life that are actually holding us back that we don't even know it. We just can't seem to manifest what we want. We just can't seem to get the things that we want out of life, and we don't know why. So we keep trying the same things over and over and over again, and we just get the same results. And we feel stuck. We feel overwhelmed. We feel lost. We feel abandoned. We feel abandoned by the universe, abandoned by friends. We think that we're never going to be able to reach the places that we want to reach. But what we don't know is that deep inside of us, we have certain things that are swirling around in there that are creating an energetic frequency, which is the field of which we attract from. So unless or until we start to clean up that inner world, we're always going to get the same results, which is not a fun thing. Most people don't like to get the same results. They're ready for something new. So I thought I would pop on today and tell you or talk to you all about this concept. But first, I want to mention that I am a live speaker every single day, Monday through Friday, over on the Noom Vibe app. Let me put it in here. Noom Vibe app. Okay, it's in the chat. The Noom Vibe app, you can download it in your app store, regardless if you have the Apple device or the Android device. I give live talks there Monday through Friday at right now during daylight savings. It is 1 p.m. Eastern time and 10 a.m. Pacific time. Okay. So I want to encourage you to jump over there and to listen to these live chats, because here's what's special about the Noom Vibe community is that this is a space where everybody is open, everybody is honest, everybody is sharing from their heart. And I am up there as a speaker facilitating, but you get the opportunity to come join the stage with me. It's an audio only app, and I have a timer set. You come up and you can share your experience, you can share your wisdom, you can share anything that you've gone through, you can talk about any questions that you have regarding the topic at hand for the day. So definitely go check out the Noom Vibe app. I speak there again Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time right now during daylight savings time. Now, once again, if you are just tuning in, I would love if you said hello. Tell me your name, tell me where you're from, check in with me while we dive into this topic today. So I did make some notes because I didn't want to try to wing it. I'm kind of bright and blown out, aren't I? Let me see if I can adjust my lighting a little bit here so it's maybe not quite so. Oh, that's a little bit more lovely. Okay, I like that. All right, so today we're going to talk about what's holding you back and going into those places inside of us that we might not realize are actually holding us back in life because we're not paying attention to it, because we haven't done maybe the introspection that we could be doing. Maybe we're not doing any self-reflection, or maybe we just don't understand how all this works. So once again, if you're here, I am someone who helps people master their energy to manifest the life and relationships of your dreams. And this is all about going in and clearing out what's inside of us so that we can reveal. So this is really not even about we're trying to cultivate something or conjure up some type of energy. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to remove what's holding us back so that we can reveal the brilliance, the true self that we are, the worthy self that we are. So the first thing that we must be willing to let go of are old wounds and emotional pain. Now, this, of course, refers to things like betrayal and abandonments, and where someone lied to us, or where there's trust issues, because that unresolved trauma can silently shape how we show up in the world. It will be the lens through which we see life, the lens through which we see ourselves. It will be the lens of belief systems that we are functioning from. And all of these things can taint the way that we see life. So it's mega important that we release those past traumas and abandonments and betrayals, these things that are very painful. And I'm even going to take it a step further and say to work on the forgiveness piece with your people, Forgiveness is one of the highest vibrational things that we can do for ourselves and for our family and for everybody, because it literally sets us free. And that's why in the thumbnail, I said, let go. I forgot the second thing, and let go, level up, and live free, because you will feel a sense of freedom. And freedom is one of the highest vibrational frequencies that we can be in, believe it or not. If you look at Abraham Hicks' emotional guidance scale, it is up there as number one. It's, of course, in alignment with appreciation and gratitude and love and freedom. They're all in that highest vibrational space. So when we feel that sense of freedom, we are going to be in an optimal manifesting space. Okay, so the next thing is, and this is one of my favorite topics, and that is shame. A lot of us don't realize that we are walking around with this pile of hidden shame inside of us. I call it hidden shame because we may feel it a little bit. You might feel it just a little bit, like, oh gosh, I feel this thing, but yet you're not really sure what it is. Maybe you haven't named it yet. Maybe you don't understand what exactly it is, but you know it's cringy. You know it's holding you back. You know it's making you feel gross. And you do probably notice that it is making you feel small and stuck in life. And so that's something that we may not recognize as a huge vibrational depleter. That's going to bring our vibration down, because of course shame is I'm not good. I am bad. That's really what shame is saying. So where guilt on one hand is saying I did something bad, shame is actually saying I am something bad. So working on that inner shame is one of the highest things that we can possibly do for ourselves. Now, again, I don't talk about anything that I've not experienced myself, because I've gone through a lot of healing work and I continue to heal to this day. And I will tell you that when I was doing this work, really condensed in this area of my life that was about 2 years, that I now refer to as the College of Kristen, when I really did this work and I started to implement these practices into my life, I noticed that this piece inside of me that thought I was bad or not enough, it started to go away. And pretty soon it was gone. And I was shocked. I didn't even know what I had done. So that is why I ended up becoming an author and a coach, because I started to take notes and write down, what did I do? Why do I feel so great? And that is the stuff that I talk about and share with you all, because this is universal. This is not just, oh, it works for about 5 people out there in your city. No, it's universal, because the universe is energy. Everything is energy. And even though we are uniquely different in our DNA, in our backstories, in our situations, in our processing systems, these type of things, we're very, very similar. We're not even similar. We're exactly alike in so many other different ways. Okay, I had to cough. I didn't want to cough in your face. Okay, so whether it's something you did, something you didn't do, something you regret, when you learn to forgive yourself, let me tell you something. The doors open. The heavens open. The world becomes huge. You feel so much better, because you have dropped this heavy burden of guilt and shame. And we do this by understanding that we did the very best that we could at the time. And if you look back in your life to that version of you that you were at that time, where you were at, what you were thinking, who you were dealing with, the stuff that was going on in your life, the areas in your life that you have not healed yet. When you go back to that version of you and you look at her or him or them, you look at that person, you're like, wow, I can understand why I made those choices at that time. I can understand why I thought that was such a great idea at that time. But of course, hindsight is 2020, and we look back and we're like, oh my gosh, I should have never have done that, or I'm so embarrassed. So shame is really those cringe moments. It's those things that you don't want to share about yourself. And in guilt is the same way. You don't want to talk about the things that you feel guilty about, because if you think it feels terrible, we think, oh God, let me just avoid that thing over here. It just feels so bad. But I always say that it's hidden shame that blocks us from healing shame. And what does that mean? It means when we're feeling this hidden shame inside, we're not going to be able to heal it, because when we turn towards it, to step towards it and to work on healing it, it feels so bad and so cringy. We want to turn the other way and go the other way, because it doesn't feel good. But we must be willing to look at those spaces in our lives where we feel shame, where we feel guilt, where we feel like we're flawed, in order to heal it. Because if we just keep ignoring it, it's going to stay there and it will fester. It will just work its little unmagic behind the scenes, and we're not going to get the things we want out of life because we can't possibly manifest when we think there's something wrong with us. All right, the next thing is releasing what's holding you back. A lot of talk about this, and you know this, and this is probably redundant, so I won't spend a lot of time on this because there's 8 gazillion videos on this, and that is releasing toxic relationships. This is a doozy. I know this is not one and done. I know this is not overnight, but I'm here to tell you that there are so many people out in the world that aren't toxic. There are so many people out in the world that are willing to own their stuff and to make changes. And holding on to those toxic relationships is really going to hold you back. It's going to hold you back because what comes with that is basically a beatdown, an emotional beatdown, a mental beatdown, because you're constantly dealing with this. You're having something in your life that is hammering at you all the time. There might be a day or two where it's peaches, but then it comes back again and it starts hammering at you again. And that's a difficult thing to deal with because you might get yourself back up into a great space and then boom, you're hit again with the behavior of this toxic person who is not doing their healing work. And trust me when I tell you, I've been in these situations myself, and I felt like I was running in mud. I felt like I couldn't get any leverage in life because this kept happening over and over and over again. And it is 100% possible to find people that don't act like that and who don't treat you like that. And I'm sure it's goes without saying that you've probably had a lot of this happen already in your life, or I'm sorry, you've tried everything that you could possibly try to get this person to not do the things, but they're still doing the things. And you might come to the conclusion that, wow, maybe it's time to leave. Maybe I need to remove myself from this situation. I know this is not a quick choice. I know this is not a quick decision on your part because there's a lot, going on with this. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of intricacies sometimes involved in this. But if it's easy, if it's someone that you just discover that is like this and they're holding you back and it's easy to cut the cord, then, that's one of the ways, it's one of the things that we need to release to step into our best life. But here's a really important message about this is that when we're willing to release what's not serving us, then the universe will bring us what does. Because it sends like Dr. Joe called it, what he called it, a quantum explosion into the field, into the quantum field. It's like an explosion that happens when you finally say no, and you mean it, and you won't go backwards on it. When you are so 100% that you are unwavering, that sends a quantum explosion. I always say it sends rocket ships up to the universe, but either way you look at it, what it is universe is like, I caught your ball and I got your message loud and clear. So now I'm going to start bringing you a different experience. The next thing is releasing limiting beliefs. Another biggie. I know I'm hitting you all with a lot of big things, and these are all equally important, and some of them are going to take some time. So when it comes to limiting beliefs, it could be things like, I'm not enough, nothing good ever works out for me, I don't deserve more, I'll always be like this, nobody likes me. Of course, when we're talking about that stuff, rah, 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 we are lowering our vibrational frequency. Even if we're not saying it out loud, we're just thinking it up in the nagi, we're lowering our frequency because words have energy attached to them. And words create emotion. I want you to think about this. Thought creates emotion. Okay? When we think something, it's going to create an emotion. That emotion is going to create more like thought, which is going to create more emotion, which is going to create more like thought, more emotion, thought, motion, thought. And then we're in this buffering cycle that is like right down the drain. It's a downward spiral, and it's often can lead us to anxiety and depression and other sort of things that are going to keep you stuck. And this may be what you've already been dealing with. You're like, ding, 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 Kristen, this is what it is. You're right. I've been thinking these terrible thoughts and they're holding me back. And I need to get a handle on my brain. Yeah. And it's doable. And that's the thing that I really want you all to understand is all this is doable. There's nothing that I share with you that's not doable. There's no magic pill. There's no quick fix. We simply can't escape the work. We have to do the work in order to get the life and relationships of our dreams. So we can think we can bypass it. We think we can. Now that's for other people, but that's not for me. But it's really not true. It's for all of us. We must be willing to do the work. And one of those things is to realize that these beliefs came from past experiences, your childhood, maybe the elders or authority figures in your life, or maybe your traumas and your dramas. But it doesn't really matter where they came from. It's the fact that they are there and that you actually can undo these limiting beliefs. You can. And here's how we do it. We question the belief. You guys probably seen this all over the place because a lot of people talk about this. You question the belief, whatever that I'm not good enough. Okay, that's the belief that's swirling in your head. And you ask yourself, is this true? Am I not good enough? And you're going to realize if you look around your life, there's a lot of areas in your life that you are good enough. So that belief that you're believing I'm not good enough is actually a lie because there's proof, there's evidence that you are good enough. So once you realize that and own that, like, you know what, I am good enough. I'm an amazing individual and I'm going to own that and start believing that instead of this old belief system that came from my coach in high school that had it out for me, or it came from an old partner that told me I'm never going to find anybody good, or I was the best that you could ever get because you're not enough and you're lucky that I dated you. You guys get the idea. There's so many things that happen to us, and this is what the deal is. The brain records those things. It records all of our past experiences, all of them, even up to today. It records them because its job is to keep us safe. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls this area the default mode network. Some people call it the ego. Yeah, I call it the ego. That's more comfortable for me. I sometimes can't even get default mode network out of my mouth. So it's going to record all those experiences, and then it's going to scan your environment over and over again, looking for something that mimics that experience. And then it goes red alert, red alert, red alert. And it starts to send you these messages to keep you from going further in life, from up leveling, from living free, from letting go, from moving on, from stepping into the unknown, because the brain is wired to not want the unknown. It wants to stay with what's familiar. And it does this and it controls us by that lovely little inner critic that I call my gremlin. I picture it as this little kind of 2.5 inch high little green. He's cute. He's not scary looking, but he's this little green fuzzy guy. And that's how I see mine. And so that gremlin's going to say stuff to you, but with the most intention of saving your life. That's the point. It's here to want to help you. It's here to want to save you. It's here to protect you. So a lot of people are like, the ego's the enemy. No, it's not the enemy. We need the ego. We need that as part of our life. It's not our enemy. It's actually our friend, but it's a friend that's lying. So get the choice. Are we going to believe those lies? Or are we not going to believe those lies? I just did a video recently on quieting your inner critic. It's a great video. And I break this down in a shorter version. It's like a 10-minute video or so, but I go more in depth about this topic. So if you're interested in that, I think it's a video ago. So go check that out. All right. The next one is letting go of old identities or roles. This is a big one because oftentimes we will identify with certain things in our life. We will say, I am a caretaker. I am a football player. Think of Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico. If you've seen it, we've seen it a million times. I remember the first time I saw it, Napoleon Dynamite, I was like, what is this? This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But then I got sucked in and watched it several times because it's just so amazing. But Uncle Rico was stuck in the identity of being that football player. And that's why at whatever age, I'm assuming he was maybe around 40 in the movie, 35, 40. But he was running around still trying to be that football player, still trying to videotape himself and to get that pass. And if I remember correctly, he made a wrong pass and then lost everything or something like that. He was still trying to make up for that. He was still identifying with that. So what is that doing? Keeping you in the past. It's keeping you way back there in the past instead of stepping boldly into who you are right now. And you are an amazing person. I'm here to tell you, if I sat in front of you right now, if we were going one-on-one, right, I could tell you a million things about you that's amazing because I sense those things in people. I feel that energy and it's like a beacon. It's like a glaring beacon to me, like literally like you're wearing clothes. I see it so clearly in people. So I can tell you right now, you've got some gifts and talents and some radical coolness about you. You don't need to be adopting some type of identity to make yourself feel cool. I have had there's people in my life because oftentimes people will attach to something like Hello Kitty and they want everything Hello Kitty. And the reason is because they want to be known for something. They want that to be their identity. So even when they've outgrown that identity, they still hold on to it because they're afraid of letting it go because they're the Hello Kitty girl. Does that make sense? So these identities, we got to be willing to let go. We are meant to shift, to morph, to grow, to evolve, to change. That is what we're meant to do here in life. We're not meant to stick in one identity. Also, keep in mind that it could be identities like you're the rebel, or you're the sexy girl or boy, or you're the fun one, whatever it might be. Anytime that we are attaching to one identity like that, we're boxing ourselves in. We're just putting ourselves in a little box. And I don't want to be in a box. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be in a box. So I've noticed when I let go of identities in the past, and that pretty much happened when I was forced to back in 2009 and 10, when I was entering a really difficult phase of my life that I later termed my tsunami because I just wanted to give it a title and box it in. I later have another phase of my life right after my tsunami called the College of Kristen, because I wanted to refer to those over and over again to people and they knew what I was speaking of. So during my tsunami, everything in my life was wiped out. I wasn't a homeowner anymore. I wasn't a business owner. I wasn't a wife. I wasn't making a substantial income. All of these things were wiped out of my life. And I remember feeling like that I was nothing, that I was absolutely nothing, that my entire value was gone because I didn't have these things in my life anymore. And I realized that, wow, these were identities that I was holding on to give me worth. I was holding on to these identities as a means of feeling like I was valuable some way, somehow. And oftentimes what we'll do when we hold on to these identities, we try to, because we think that's where we're valuable, we try to share them with people and show people and teach people and say, look at me. This is where I'm special. I got news for you, sweetheart. You're already special. You're already special if you're pushing a grocery cart over by the mall. You're already special. There's no identity that you need to hold on to. It's really about, again, we're releasing what's not working for us. We're letting go. We're dropping those heavy anchors overboard, and we're deciding that I am worthy just the way I am. I don't need these identities to make me feel like anything that I'm not. One of the most fulfilling things that happened in my life, and I think about this occasionally, is that when I dropped all of those identities, the true me emerged, the real me, the whole of me, the entirety of me emerged, because I wasn't living to support those identities any longer. I was putting more focus on energy on who I am in the world, and I kept showing up as myself in the world. And my life started to change because, like I've said many times in this broadcast right now, I felt free. I felt free to just be me. I didn't need to attach to anything. I didn't need to prove myself to anybody. And again, when you let go of these old things that we're talking about today, you're going to level up. You can't not. Because I wanted you to picture yourself like a hot air balloon that has all those, I don't know how much they weigh, but those big, huge sandbags of weights that's holding them down, that they actually detach from the basket when they go. Think about all these things that I'm talking about right now being those attachments. They're pulling you down. They're pulling you down. The old wounds and emotional pain, the guilt and the shame, the toxic relationship, the limiting beliefs, and the identities. They're pulling you down. So what we're doing is we're going through with our massive gardening shears and we're cutting those ropes, every single one of it. We're going around that basket and we're cutting those ropes and we're releasing what is not serving us. I don't know about you, but I don't want to hold on to things that aren't serving me. I want to let those things go. I'm done with being weighted down. I want to live my life free. I want to live my life with self-love and empowerment and integrity and truth and honesty. And I want to be my whole and complete authentic self. And I know that I can't be my whole and complete authentic self if I've got all this mud that's burying who I am. And the same is true for you. All right. So the next thing that you might need to let go of is resentments and grudges. Did you hear me? Resentments and grudges. Woo. Okay. I didn't realize I was a grudge holder. I had no idea I was a grudge holder until one day we were talking about it within the family. We're talking about who's a grudge holder. And here's interesting is that none of my family members said that I was. But when we were talking about it out loud and we were sharing with each other, I just realized, you know what? I can. I can hold some grudges. Now, I'm not a huge grudge holder, but I can. And I can really be like, that person did this, and I'm walking around, this is not literally looking like that, but I've got this, kind of feel about me. That's energy attached. I'm attached to that energy. That's what I'm exuding out into the world. Even if I'm laughing with friends, that grudge is still inside of me. Once again, set myself free. Take out those big pruning shears. What is a grudge anyway? It's us wanting to be right. It's us, part of it is, well, it's really most of it is us wanting to be right, but part of it actually is us wanting the apology, us wanting the ownership, and us wanting to create a boundary and hold people at arm's length who are not showing up for us. Well, guess what? The apologies don't always come, and we can still hold people at arm's length if we need to. If we have people in our lives that are not treating us the way that we would like to be treated, and or they've done horrible things in the past, we can still distance from them. We can cut that toxic tie between us and them by releasing the grudge. The next thing is resentments. Most of the time, people know what I'm talking about when I say resentments, but what they are, in case you want a little refresher, is resentments are those places where our needs have not been met over and over and over again. So we start to resent the person that we think is supposed to fill those needs for us. Sometimes it's true and it's on point. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's somebody that keeps promising us stuff and then they fall short and they do the bad thing again or what have you. They break the promise. And pretty soon we start to build up these resentments where it's really quite literally a block wall between us and this person. And it could be somebody in our life that we actually love and we want to have a healthy relationship with and we want to grow with, but yet we have these resentments between them and us. And I'm here to tell you that resentments are the number one relationship killer. Research it. They are the number one relationship killer, and it's a slow burn relationship killer. It's not something that's really super overt. It could be if you're expressing your resentments on the regular, but it's just this feeling of, ooh, just stay away from me, gross. It's just a feeling inside, and we'll keep people at arm's length. We'll keep pushing them out because we're feeling these resentments. Now, of course, where boundaries are concerned, you have every right to set a boundary in any place in your life that you want to. I hope that you do. However, carrying around the energy of the resentment is a problem because that's energy inside of your body, right? Most of us know by now that stuck energy, repressed energy, energy that has not been expressed or felt can create dis-ease in the body, which creates disease in the body. The work of Dr. Joe Dispenza will talk to you about epigenetics, where is that unexpressed energy, that dense energy in our body from the negative type of emotions and the traumas and things that are unexpressed can actually up level genes. It can actually turn on certain genes in our body, which can activate some type of sickness or illness. So why is it that we want to do this? Well, first we want to release the energetic tie. Again, I don't want to be bound to other people in a negative energetic way. Now, are there people in my life that I still, if I think about them and the things that they've done, that's kind of yucky? Absolutely. There's people in my life that I'm still just like, ugh, don't even like being around you. But here's the thing. I was around someone that I had been carrying some resentment and grudge around with, they had done something pretty crappy. And I was around them about a month ago and I knew I was going to be around them. And I thought, Kristen, don't go to this event carrying that energy, looking for them, wondering where they're at, like paying attention to the proximity of this person. Don't go to this event like that. Go in your clear space. So I worked on my resentment. I worked on forgiveness. I worked on letting go. I worked on this person not being on the radar of my life. I didn't want to see a blip on the screen. And you know what? The entire thing went by beautifully. There was even a hello exchange here and there. But I felt so much better because I didn't bring that resentment to this event that we were at. So it was like a 3-day, 4-day event. And so the resentments can hold us back. The grudges can hold us back. And releasing those, doing the work to release those is something that is going to be so serving in your life. And I really want to invite you to, if you're someone who has been feeling stuck and overwhelmed and tired and feeling like, you always get the whammies in life. You never get the good stuff out of life. It could be that you are energetically attracting a lot of people and experiences to you. And that's why I'm giving this conversation today about releasing what's holding you back. Because, like I said, there is stuff holding us back. There are invisible ties that are holding us back. And it's up to us to snip these strings, to get off of this, and to rise up in life. Like I just said a couple minutes ago about the analogy with the hot air balloon that has the basket and all those big weights that are pulling it down. By cutting these ties, we are going to rise up. We can't not. That's why in the subtitle I put level up and live free, because you will. But we have to be willing to do the work. We can't be sitting there saying, oh, this is terrible, I hate this, and not being willing to do the work. We must be willing to do the work. Okay, the next one is, oh, this is a biggie. I need to take a sip of my drink for this. The next one is the need for closure. The need for closure. Oh my gosh. That was such a hot word back, I don't know, not too long ago. It was like, any closure, any closure. I didn't have any closure. There's no closure. I need closure. And I'm not making fun of anybody. I've actually said the words myself. Really what a closure is you coming to terms with the event. That's really what it is. If you coming to terms with the truth or the outcome of the event and making peace with it. That's really what closure is. So I remember I was dating this guy for a little bit of time right after my tsunami. And I just adored this guy. I thought he was the greatest thing. He ends up breaking up with me. And it was this weird, really weird breakup. And I didn't really, I never felt like I got the truth probably of what happened. And then a little while later, we were still in very, very light, minimal contact. And we met up for coffee. And I remember thinking, I think this was many years ago, it's like 15 years ago, but I remember saying, I never really got closure. Like, can we have an exit interview? And this is years after we broke up. I needed to release this. Well, we went there and he really didn't say anything that gave me closure. There was nothing he said that gave me closure, but just sitting in his presence and watching him 2 years older, 2 years more healed, and 2 years wiser, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. And I remember saying, well, look at the time. I got to go. And he was like, well, I still have more time. I got to go. That was all the closure I needed. I made peace with it. But when we sit with the idea that we need closure all the time, and if we don't get it, then we just can't move on. Again, the tethers that are holding us back, the big sandbags that are holding us down, we can't move on. So make peace with the idea that you don't really know what happened. Make peace with the idea that they have not taken ownership. That's a huge one. For closure for a lot of people means that you want the person to own what they did to you, or you want an apology. To be honest with you, the majority of the people who have done me wrong, save maybe one person, and I'm talking about the big Mac Daddy betrayals and stuff in my life, the majority of them never apologized. So I could be sitting here with lack of closure from all of these people if I chose that. But I didn't choose that. I was like, nope, I'm letting go. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. They're in the past. I'm done with this. This is over with. I don't want to carry this with me into the future because it's just tethering me down. And that doesn't feel good to me. So I remember recently someone said to me, this is, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, somebody said to me, you're talking a lot about the past. You're talking a lot about XYZ situation. And I remember thinking, I am. And this wasn't like in real time with them. It was something that I thought about later. I was like, wow, I do. I am. And it's not like it's all the time, but just in conversations, those stories would come up. And after they said that to me, I thought, well, thank you for pointing that out, because I didn't even know that I was repeating those situations, those stories, those scenarios over and over and over again. And every time that I did, I was feeling some kind of way about it. I was not enjoying the feeling that I was feeling when I was replaying these scenarios, but yet it was just making me angry, and it was pulling my energy down. So I thought to myself one day, what if I absolutely just stop replaying those stories? What if I just don't share them with anybody? I don't need to share those stories with anybody. I'm just going to, they're done, they're over with. And I want to be in my present moment now. I want to be right here, right now. And when I did that, once again, I started rising up. I mean, the weights came up, the basket went off the ground because I was not living in the past. And what's in the pure, generous moment? What is in right now? Peace. Because we're not ruminating on the past, or we're not what ifing the future. Okay. Ruminating on the past gives us depression, makes us sad, brings down our energy, makes us low. The same thing over here. When we are what ifing the future and fearing the future, that's going to create anxiety. We're going to get really nervous. Again, not a good vibrational space. So, what if I just stay right here and right now and stop thinking about and ruminating on the past? It was just a choice I made. Let me give it a try. Is it doing me any good to think about the past? Is it doing me any good to retell those stories? No. I can very well say, yeah, I had a harsh betrayal once. I understand what you're saying. That was hard to get past or something like that. I don't need to go, oh, well, here's my story. Here's what happened. You know what I'm saying? So there's ways that you can work that you don't have to dip back into that energy again. And once again, working on forgiveness. That's one of the greatest ways that we can set ourselves free, is working towards forgiveness, understanding that forgiveness is not condoning. Never, ever, 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 ever is it okay what your person did. They hurt you. It was rough. It was traumatic, and it's not okay. However, forgiveness doesn't mean condoning. It means understanding where they were at that time and why they made the choices that they did based on their level of experiences, their upbringing, their own traumas, how they were treated in their past. Sometimes when we can just come to a little understanding of why they did the thing they did, even though it's not okay, it'll never be okay, but we can understand why they did the thing we did. It's easier to just, that's when we are humanity. That's when our heart opens. That's when we can kind of have compassion for that person and what went on in their own life and what promoted them to act like the way that they acted to us. Again, not condoning, but cutting that toxic tie. Hey, I got scissors here. This is what we're going to do. We're cutting that toxic tie between them and us. Oh, this is another big one. Ooh, this is another big one. I like this one so much. A huge thing that can hold us back in life is comparison. Oh my gosh. I mean, I think I've compared myself my whole life until recently, where I really, really am conscious about not doing it, because every time, without fail, that I compare myself to somebody else, I feel like crap. 100% of the time. My self-esteem goes down, my self-worth goes back down. I start doubting myself in all kinds of ways. So I've learned that comparison doesn't work. Now, there is a degree of healthy comparison, let's say, where when I was doing hair, I was a hairstylist for 30 years. And I remember when I was brand new doing hair, and I would sit and I would watch this other gal who was 8 years into it. And it wasn't that I was comparing and she's better than me or anything like that. I was watching the way she did things in comparison to the way I did things, and I was learning from her. Okay? So that's a very positive comparison, but you all know what I'm talking about with this social media stuff. The social media stuff is all about comparison, and it can create so much anxiety, and this is why our youth today, the millennials and below, have so much anxiety because of all this social media stuff. We didn't have that. Gen X and older we didn't have that at all, because we weren't being inundated all the time. Yeah, I could compare myself to a couple of girls at school, but not the entire world. Comparing myself to every single perfect figure and hair and whatever else on there, that can hurt us. And it is also true with things like content creation, where you look at somebody and you're like, oh, don't make videos like that, or I'm not good with my reels, or whatever it may be. I had to get through that, because at first when I started YouTube, this channel's old, but I didn't even know what I was doing. I just uploaded some stuff 14 years ago. And then I kind of revamped it. Let's see, this 2025, it was in 2023. I got monetized in 8 months, and I just started to really I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to make thumbnails. I didn't know how to, where I should sit in the screen. I mean, I think a lot of my videos, I was down here, I really was just a talking head. And I had to learn those things. But when I was watching other people, there was times when I compared myself to them, and it really hurt. I was like, I'm never going to be like them, or wow, they're so good, or look at their lighting, et cetera, et cetera. And, they've got X amount of followers or what have you. And that comparison hurt me deeply. It hurt me deeply and it sunk my self-esteem. Even though I'm a coach and a mentor and an author and I teach this stuff, it was that comparison that held me back. And I had to stop doing it. So it was something that I had to be really intentional with. Now, remember, that's kind of part of the brain too that is helping us to survive because it wants to see if there's any threats out there. It wants to see if you're good enough. It wants to see that you fit into community. But we can override this system. We can actually turn off that system and say, I don't need to compare myself. I am perfectly wonderful in my own right. And that's why the one thing that anybody that's going to date, is going to a job interview, going to start a social media channel, going to write a book, the number one thing I say is be yourself. We don't want some false version of you. We can feel that energy. So when we compare ourselves to other people, we might think we need to be like somebody else. And then we become this false version of ourselves that nobody attaches to. My number one video on this channel that's gotten the most views, it's not something in the millions or anything, but it is the viral video of mine. I literally filmed it sitting in my car in a mall that is nearby that they closed down. Now they've demolished it and they're putting up new stuff. I'm sitting in this empty parking lot in my car talking on my phone. The lighting is terrible. I'm seeing people walk by and mentioning, oh, these people are staring at me. It was just the most non-professional video, but I spoke from my heart. I spoke from my heart, and that video, it's like probably almost every day I get someone liking it or sending me a comment on that video. Nobody says your lighting's crappy, you're sitting in your car, you're a little distracted. No one said anything because I was speaking from my heart. And so that's what in the vein of comparison, you're exactly who you're supposed to be. Period. Look at TikTok. Look at all these individuals on TikTok. They're just doing them. There's some of these people on there. Thank you guys for the likes. I just saw a little number roll. I appreciate that. I see you guys here. But, I look at these people on TikTok, they're so flippin' creative. I'm like, where did they, and sometimes I'm like, I wish I was like that. I wish I was that creative. I wish I was that comical or funny, but I'm not like them. I'm me and I have my own unique gifts and talents that I'm supposed to share with the world. So I do it my way. So I know that you have these things too. So get out of the comparison. Get out of the comparison. You're not supposed to be like anybody else, or you would have been somebody else. And here's another thing that I want you to know. You are one and never again. You're one and never again. It makes my eyes tear up. You are one and never again. Oh my God, I'm a sap. There's no one like you. No one was here before you that's like you. No one's going to be here like you after you. You are the perfect set of DNA, your parents, your experience to be exactly who you are. And by the way, even if you're an identical twin, they don't have exactly the same genes. There's always a little bit variation. I promise you, because I had identical twin hair clients. They were identical. And that's one egg that splits. It's really crazy, but they look different. I could tell them apart. They weren't identical. So you're special. You're brilliant. You're amazing. Trust it. Stop comparing yourself to others. Find who you are. Cut that tie. Cut that tie with who you think you're supposed to be. Thank you for the love going up on the screen. Stop with who you think you're supposed to be to become, hey, Laura, to become who you authentically are. Be who you are. That's who we want to see. We want to see you. Laura that's here just started a YouTube channel, and I love watching her work out. And it's amazing. Not YouTube channel, I'm sorry, TikTok channel. And I see her and her dogs and stuff like that. She's just being Laura. She's singing full songs, a cappella. She's dancing. She's having a great time. And of course, anytime I run across it, I'm like, look at Laura doing Laura. Look at Laura being Laura. It just brings me joy. And that's what I would like to see you. Stop comparing. Don't try to be anybody else. Okay. And the last thing is drop fear. I know that's a big one. That's a tall order. Drop fear. What this really means is step into your courage. Release all this fear that's holding you back. Learn to trust the universe. This is where I get really spiritual, because you can call it God, source, universe. I don't care what you call it. Jesus. I call it universe for the most part. God, source. I call it everything. I call it I am. I call it all that is. But there's this energetic field out there that is 100% unconditionally loving. And this field wants you to win. This field has your back, and it's sitting here ready and waiting to match your vibrational frequency at any time to drop in the things you want in your life. But if you're carrying around all this fear all the time, I'm afraid I'm not have enough money. I'm afraid this person's going to leave me, or I'm afraid I'm going to get fired, or I'm afraid of crossing the street, or I'm afraid of doing this, I'm afraid of doing that. If you're afraid all the time, then that is going to be this massive block wall between you and manifesting your best life. It's going to be a block wall. So we have to learn to be courageous, which means feeling the fear and doing the thing anyway. Do you think I didn't have fear getting up in public speaking? You bet I did. I had a massive fear of public speaking. They say it's most everybody's fear, but mine was like debilitating, really debilitating, where I'd take an F in school rather than give a talk. Now I can do it no problem. But I had to face that fear over and over and over and over. I had to talk to myself before getting on lives on this app that was called Wisdom back in the day. It was a live audio app. I had to do tapping. I do all kinds of stuff to get past that fear because I felt inspired to do the thing. And it's through that inspiration that's guiding us and leading us. That inspiration that you feel inside, that's something that kind of lights you up and inspires you. Like, I really want to, you know what I want to do? That feeling inside of you is universal energy guiding you. And it's going to guide you. Sometimes you're going to be like, oh, that's the unknown. That's scary. I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, maybe I'll just stay over here and I'll just stay small and I'll just stay stuck because you're afraid. I get it. We're all afraid. We're wired to be afraid. Again, that's the default mode network that I talked about, AKA / the ego. So we are wired to be afraid. But again, there's so many things out there that we don't need to be afraid of. There's no T-Rex coming for us. There's no saber-toothed tiger. There's no neighboring tribe with their big spears that are trying to take over our water hole. It's not happening anymore, but we're still wired that way to be afraid of threat. So yes, there are some things you might be afraid of, like someone's going to make fun of me, or someone's going to think I'm stupid if I make this TikTok channel, or whatever it might be. Yes, I understand that, and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway, whatever it might be in your life. I'm talking about this because it's easy and because my friend Laura's here, and she just recently started her TikTok channel. She's from the Noom Vibe app. You can see she wrote a note here. Kristen is on the Noom Vibe free app. Yes. Oh, who's here? Yeah, I know. I have Noom Vibe. Who are you, A? A said amazing stream. Do I know you? I would love to see your name because you're just coming up as an A for me. There's no name. If you want to, if you feel comfortable, if you don't want to. Peace 101. Yes, love that. Okay. So anyway, that's where's great. Oh, Christy Norwood's here. Hi, Christy. Wow, you guys. So what's interesting is I've been on for 47 minutes. In the past 5 minutes is when everybody piled into this room. I don't know. Maybe I should do it on a consistent basis so people know when I'm joining. But does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Because I am more than happy to answer those questions. But first, I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm sorry, it's not water. It's hibiscus tea that's unsweetened. And I do once again want to mention that I am on the Noom Vibe app Monday through Fridays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time during daylight savings time. When we're off daylight savings, it's an hour early and earlier. And the reason is because I'm in Arizona, we don't change time zones. So it's always, always, always 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We don't change the clocks. So it's always 10 a.m. But the world around me changes the clock. So it will adjust. But anyway, I jump on there and I talk about all things regarding reclaiming your true worth and personal power, all to master your energy and manifest the life and relationships of your dreams. And let me tell you something, it is one of the most amazing communities ever. And you do get the opportunity to jump on live with me. There's a little button you can push. Oh, come on over, Christy. I would love to have you there. Christy said she needs that. You're going to love this community, Christy. Laura is from that community. That's how Laura and I met. And you'll hear her talking. Remember her name because you'll hear her talking. She's mostly joins the stages in the evening because she works during the day. I'm usually on during the day. So anywho, there's also replays on there, and because every single talk is recorded, so you can listen to those. And I do share a couple of them over on my podcast. So those are other places that you can find them. How often do you plan to do lives on YouTube? Laura, I haven't really come up with an idea yet because I have so many moving parts in my life. I have so many things that I juggle and things that take up a chunk of my schedule. And I don't want to be honest with you, I don't want to be ungenuine and jump on here just to jump on here. I want to jump on when I'm motivated. I want to jump on when I'm inspired, and I want to share something with you all from my heart. So I haven't come up with a particular schedule yet, but I might. I might do that because I love doing these lives. I like to have people message me over here on chat and share with me. I see there's more people in the room. If you guys would be willing to jump in and tell us where you're from and where you're tuning in from, I would certainly love to hear you. Yes, you guys, by the way, Noom Vibe does pay you for your steps. It has a step tracker on it, and you earn a currency called vibes. So the more you walk, oh, good, we got a New Yorker coming in. Right on. Love that. Yes, I love New York. When I went to upstate New York, I was like, what is this heaven? Because in Arizona, we're all desert. But oh my gosh, the trees and the grass. It was like, wow, it was gorgeous. But thank you for joining me, guys. Anyway, that's all I got for ya. If you want to listen to this is going to be upload lots of mountains. Yeah. Lots of up and down. And Washington State. I love Washington State too. Yes, let us know a bit in advance. Well, that's a good idea too, you all, is once I come up with a schedule, I'm probably going to send it out in one of my newsletters. If you're interested in signing up for one of my newsletters, it's really super easy. Just go over to my website, which is kristenbrown.org. It's not .com. .com was taken and it was ridiculous amount of money. So I just went with .org. Anyway, kristenbrown.org. And over there, you're going to see one of the tab says free resources. There's a whole bunch of free resources there, and they're all things that have to do with self-healing, self-worth recovery, self-love. And I always make my resources really short, pretty, aesthetically pleasing, and easy to read. So it's not like you're going to get this big old book. It's just information at your fingertips. So jump over there, sign up for a free resource, or there's other areas on the site that you can just join the newsletter. I don't blow people up, but it is a great place for me to give you information because everybody's in one condensed place. I can send one note out and notify you of just certain things that are coming up. So that's a great idea. Yep. I have 2 books, and where's my, okay, this is my one that is my most recent. It is The Recovering People Pleaser, a spiritual guide to reclaiming your true worth to attract the love you deserve. And when I say love, wow, this lighting is weird. I look like I have freckles. Anyway, didn't look at myself until now. Is to attract and manifest the life and relationships of your dreams. And what I talk about in this book is how to heal this inner world. It's what I keep talking about and sharing with people because like I said, we're all frequency. And if we're not in the right energetic space, we cannot manifest things in our life. The manifesting journey is really a self-healing journey. And not many people are telling you that. I heard other people recently catching wind with this. Someone was talking about the nervous system and manifesting. And I was like, yes, okay. Now we're getting to the real nitty gritty because it started out with The Secret and just think about it. And then it was going to happen. But thanks, Laura. But really, there's a lot of things that we have to overcome, which is the cool thing about the manifestation journey. If you think about it, anytime that you actually want something, then you're going to have to remove the blocks to getting that thing. That's all it's about. So what are the blocks? The limiting belief systems, the false belief systems, the fear, these type of things that are standing in between us and the thing that we want. And that's where the self-healing comes in. That's when we return back to our authentic self, and our true worth will emerge, and we will raise our vibrational frequency, and we'll actually believe we are worthy of said things. And sometimes there's a learning curve to this. Some things take longer than other things, and that's okay. Sometimes there's some things that I wanted to manifest in my life that were like gourmet meals, 12-course meal. Well, that was going to take longer to manifest than going to a fast food joint and wanting something small, like let's say a parking spot. Some things were going to take longer because the universe has to orchestrate a lot of people and a lot of things into place. But one of the biggest keys about this is really trusting this power. That's really another thing that I don't think people talk about very often, is truly trusting this energy. You can call it God, source, universe, the quantum field, the force, all that is, the great I am, whatever you want to call it, is all unconditional love, and it wants to see you win. And it does this by matching your frequency. If you're vibing it, it's going to land on you. So that was part of my healing journey because I kept attracting things I didn't like. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? And as soon as I realized I am the common denominator. I am the reason why these things are being attracted to me. That's when I started to really do my healing work, because I didn't want to do that anymore. And then everything started to shift. So keep in mind that the first thing that we must understand is that the universe is friendly, it's loving, it's adoring, it doesn't pick favorites, it's neutral, and it wants to see you win. And when you look back on your life, because sometimes it's hard to make that leap into just pure faith, pure belief, pure trust, 100% trust that this is what this is. Sometimes it's hard to make that leap. But I promise you, if you look back in your life, there are going to be times in your life where you went, how did this happen? Today I was thinking about something, and I don't listen to pop country music anymore. I'm more about the 90s country music, but I don't even turn on my car radio. The radio with the stations, I don't even turn on today. I popped that on. Some song came on and I heard one lyric and I went, oh my God. It was totally something that was a pure alignment. Like I knew this was a message. I knew this was in alignment, and it was validating me. So I wrote down the person's name. I came home. It's right there on my screen, up there on the top of my screen, on the tabs for my Google, the song and the lyrics. And I came home and I read it and I was like, wow, right? These type of things, these synchronicities, these wow moments, these aha moments, especially the synchronicities, when you look back on your life and how many of those synchronicities are there, you can start to trust. And so there's sometimes when I want to manifest something, I will literally say, I get myself into this space and I feel it deep, viscerally, viscerally, viscerally. And for some reason, I say it on my exhales, but I say it inside my head. And what I say to myself is, I know you are all powerful and can give me anything I want. That's what I say. And I'll say that, and I will root into that. And then I will say what it is that I want. I will, what I call, declare it so. Sometimes it happens quickly. Sometimes it doesn't happen that quickly. But it's trust. When I unequivocally trust this power, when I know without question how powerful this energy is, like it's beyond our comprehension. We're talking universe. We're talking quantum field. We're talking infinite possibilities, infinite. When we really think about that, and all the answers are there, and all the alignments and the paths and the people, it's all there. But all we need to do is trust. 100% of the time when I just said, this is yours, trust me, take me, show me, I was led down this little path and boop, landed on the thing. Some of the synchronicities were absolutely mind-blowing. How could I not believe? But I had to let go first. And this is something that might be tethering you and holding you down too, is the holding on. We want to control. We think we know the how. We think, well, if I just talk to this person, or I go here, or I do this, or I get that job, or I color my hair this color, XYZ is going to happen. You don't need to do any of those things. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to control. All we need to do is to follow inspiration. If you feel inspired to do something like get a job somewhere or what have you, follow that inspiration. If you get inspiration, like, I just want to go talk to that person. They look like such a nice person. Next thing you know, that person is married to this other person that works at this place that you've been trying to get into. Do you see what I'm saying? It flows, but we got to get out of our own way. And we got to release all of these things that I listed today. We got to be really willing to release what's holding us back, to step into what's actually meant for us, because it is meant for you. It is 100% meant for you. Okay. There's no one on this earth that is not worthy. There's no one on this earth that's not deserving. There's no one on this earth that doesn't have some type of dream. Hi, Michelle Wasserman. Some type of dream. There's no one on here that doesn't. And guess what? We all get to have exactly what we want in the exact way that we want it. Because I might say, I want a boyfriend, and you might say, I want a boyfriend, and someone else says they want a boyfriend. We all want a completely different boyfriend. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm married. I'm not looking for a boyfriend. But what I'm saying is that, I want a new car. Everybody's new car is different. Everybody's new job is different. Everybody's dream vacation is different. whatever it might be, it's different. So we have to be willing to want what we want. Let it be okay that we want it exactly the way that we want it, because you get to design. Lisa's here too. You get to design your dream life and your dream career. You get to design everything that you want and doing it your way. But there's trust involved in this. There's 100% trust involved with this. And a lot of people will talk about this energy. They'll call it God, they'll call it Jesus, they'll call it whatever. But and they can recite things from various books, but yet they don't truly trust. They don't truly trust. It does us no good to be able to recite it. It's the work, it's the belief, it's the understanding, it's the sitting in it. It's saying, I know you got me. And me saying that to the air, to this energy that's all everywhere at all times, everywhere. It's even in this. Okay. The energy is everywhere. This is why we don't have to go to a place. We can be sitting in our office on a live call and say this. When you say, I trust that you have my back, I trust that you're leading me. And even we can request things like, help me to let go, help me to see the glaring beacon, the choice that I should be making. Make one stand out more. I've even said, I'm so messed up right now. I've got so much anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. You got to make this sign or this path obvious. Like, I need neon, bro. I need neon. I need blinking lights. I have talked like that to what I call God. I was like, you got to make this so obvious that I can't miss it. Like, I'm driving down the road. Oh, there it is. I need to know which direction to go, because there was times when I couldn't hear those quiet nudges in those messages and those little, like, get over there, go talk to that person. I just couldn't hear it because they're so quiet, because this energy does not impose on our free will. It only steps up and matches what it is that we ask for. So being willing to ask and saying, this is what I want. I am willing to have this. I am willing to release the blocks. That's actually one of the best prayers that we can say is, help me, or please remove the blocks to this dream. Please remove the blocks to this desire that I have. I am willing to release the blocks to this dream. I am willing to release the blocks to this desire. I am willing to release fear. I am willing to open my eyes and my ears and to pay attention to what you have to give to me. See what I'm saying? We got to be willing. This energy is working for you at all times. And this is why we have to be mindful about what it is that we're saying, the words we're speaking over ourselves and our lives. I'm going to pause there. Michelle, I need neon, bro. Laura, did change for the better come for you from inside out or vice versa? Inside out. Absolutely inside out. 100%. This is why I say the motto is right here on my wall. That's what I read. All change happens on the inside first. And when you change your inner world, you change your life. All change happens on the inside first. And when you change your inner world, you change your life. Because when you change your thoughts, when you change your beliefs, you're going to change the emotion, which is actually the energy that is attached to those things, and your vibrational frequency changes. And that's when you match. See what I'm saying? So if you're down here in, some type of low thought belief area, that's going to create a vibrational frequency based on the emotions when you think and believe that way. So when we start to think and believe better, that's when the emotions start to rise to match that thought, and our energetic frequency rises. Not crazy. This is why affirmations are so important. But a lot of times people will say affirmations like, I am worthy, I am wonderful, I attract good things into my life. I am worthy. I am wonderful. I attract all good things into my life. Do you see the difference? I told my heart. I felt it. I felt every word of what I said. That's when our frequency changes. My frequency just changed. Just I could feel it. I could feel this like little expansiveness. This it's like a heart opening, for lack of a better word. I just felt like a breath that moved through me when I took the time to do that. So this is why affirmations are so incredibly important in catching our thoughts and our limiting beliefs, because they will change our energetic frequency. We don't need to believe everything we think, because a lot of the things that we think are coming from our past histories. Everything people have said to us. Again, the default mode network in our brain just yammering away at us, trying to keep us stuck and afraid and small. So we have to be willing to question those beliefs. We have to be willing to say, right now I'm believing that I can't even make something up on the fly. You guys, you're seeing me do do this in real time now. I do this on Noon 5 all the time because I speak from my heart. And as you can see, I've only looked down when I was going to the next item on the list because there was 10 of them. But when we believe those things and we don't question those things, we're keeping ourselves stuck. We're keeping ourselves tethered to the past. We're keeping ourselves tethered to the traumas and dramas and experiences, and we're actually not letting go. We're not releasing ourselves from that past. So it's one of the most important things that we can ever do is to question the beliefs that we're believing about ourselves and about life. Okay, that's it for now, guys. I've been on an hour and 5 minutes, and I'm so glad that you guys joined me, even though it was at the near the end of this. If you want to listen to it from the beginning, you're welcome to do so. I would appreciate that. And so glad to meet the new ones that were on here and the people, like someone said they're on Noon 5 already. I love that. Who was that? Peace 101. What is Peace 101? Maybe that's their handle on Noon Vibe. Okay. All right, you guys. If you're new here, probably not, but anybody who's listening on the replay, if you are new here and what you're hearing us talk about is that I speak live on the Noon Vibe app Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time, right now during daylight savings time. It's a free app. You just download the app, you go to the live talks, and boom, there you will find me at that time. I usually start 10 or 15 minutes before the hour so that we don't stack talks for people that talk at the same time. So come join us over there. Oh, okay. That's your new vibe name. All right. Peace 101. Oh, this is so fun. This is so fun. I have so much fun with this, you guys. I think you guys are amazing. I love you. You make me happy. You make me smile. So I'm glad I got on today. I'm glad I got to see all of you on this Sunday evening. It's 6:39 here. So for those of you back east, it's probably 9:39, getting late at your end, maybe getting ready to wind down and go to bed. But Alyssa, if you ever want to, you can come up and join the stage. I don't know if you hit me live. I don't know if you get me live. It depends on what you're doing during your days, but I will keep an eye out for you. I'm definitely going to give you a shout out. But thank you, Miss Michelle, Lisa, Laura, Christy, Norwood. Those are only the people who have popped up into the chat. Many other people have passed through this room during this hour. I appreciate you guys. I love you. Yes, we have been DM'd before. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I get so many DMs. I can't remember. And it's been a year now. So I've had hundreds and hundreds of messages and I forget. I apologize for that. It doesn't mean that I don't think you're cool. I'm just telling you. All right. So thank you for being here. And I will try to put it in a newsletter when I can maybe come up with a schedule of when I'm going to come on live. Hopefully on a schedule. All right. Bye, everybody. I love you. How do I end this? End stream.